man, I'm gonna tell you the first thing I tell motherfuckers is you don't even really want to get in this business for real. This is a fucked up business. It's like, you know what I'm saying, it's give or take. It's like a whole lot of times it don't even got nothing to do with your talent. A whole lot of times it got to do with the decisions you make and the motherfuckers around you and the doors you walk through, you know what I'm saying?
A young girl to put them in the bed with an old man, they can draw her energy. Aaliyah, what they did with Aaliyah is although they sacrificed it, they did the movie Akasha.
Before Static Major passed, there were serious signs he was holding back the real truth about Aaliyah's death. Static and Aaliyah weren't just music partners, they were tight, and both of them passed away young, suddenly, under some real suspicious conditions. Aaliyah's plane crash? They stamped it as an accident. Static's death? Blamed it on some out-of-the-blue medical issue. But if you really look at the timing, the people involved, and how everyone got quiet after both tragedies, it's hard not to feel like there's a deeper layer hiding in plain sight.
But after I say that, the best advice I can give a motherfucker is be your worst critic. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like to ride their own jock. They'll go do a song and they'll be like, yeah, that's the shit, I'm telling you. They don't sign this, da-da-da. But instead of ride your own jock, sit back and peep it and see how you can make it even doper. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to bop to your own shit, but you want to see a whole room bop to it. And not when the DJ saying, this is such and such, whoop whoop, it's his new song. You want them to bop to it when they don't know who it is. It just come on and they just bop to it. So a whole lot of times people get caught up in riding their own job and they never get to see the wrinkles that they still got to honor.
You gotta remember, Static wasn't just some regular songwriter for Aaliyah. He basically created her signature sound, that smooth, futuristic R&B vibe that made her legendary. He was there when all those iconic tracks got made. And more importantly, he was close enough to witness everything going down behind closed doors. After Aaliyah passed, Static kept pushing forward like everybody else. But something about him changed. He moved quieter, acted way more careful. Then slowly, he started dropping little clues, slipping out hints about how dark and dangerous the industry really is, especially for folks who come in too pure for that cutthroat world.
What do you want your legacy to be? I mean, I know you're 22, it's pretty young, but like if you could be like, hey, this is what I want to be my mark as.
I don't know, right now it's hard to say what I want my legacy to be, what I want people to say when I'm long gone. And that's how I was trained, and I want people to look at me as a full-on entertainer and a good person. So, we'll talk a few years down the line and we'll see where my head is at.
But now here's where things really get wild. There's been serious talk that Static was keeping a personal diary during that whole time. A private notebook where he wrote down everything he couldn't say in public. Names, events, things he saw firsthand, things he overheard. All that dark, shady stuff that goes down in the music industry behind closed doors. The crazy part, Static's diary has never officially been released. And some folks swear it mysteriously vanished right after he passed away. Gone like it never existed. But here's the kicker. Some pieces of it supposedly leaked online, and just from reading those little fragments, you can tell Static was sitting on something heavy. This wasn't just gossip or random notes. He had real information that could have changed everything. And then, boom, out of nowhere, Static dies too, right at the exact moment when he was about to make his solo comeback. The timing of that is just too wild to ignore. So first off, let's get one thing straight about who Static Major really was. Because way too many folks out here act like he was just some random background songwriter.
R&B star Stephen Garrett was laid to rest today. Known in the music industry as Static, Garrett died Monday from complications from a medical procedure.
Nah, not even close. Static, real name Stephen Garrett, was one of the most powerful voices shaping late 90s and early 2000s R&B. Yeah, he was part of the group Playa. But where Static really made waves was behind the scenes. He wasn't just throwing out catchy hooks. He had that rare talent for crafting whole sounds. Static had an ear for what was next. Not just what was hot right now, but what was about to blow up.
Shorty, say what's your price? Just to back it up, you can hold my ice. My first time working with Nas, you know what I'm saying? And once again, it was magic, you know what I'm saying? What else I did? Don't change the game for these hoes. We play the game like we supposed. Yeah, it was me on that hook too. And them niggas didn't even call me for the video, but it's all good.
And when it comes to Static's connection to Aaliyah, she wasn't just another artist on his playlist. Aaliyah was one of the few people in the industry he was truly close to. Static co-wrote some of her biggest, most unforgettable tracks. Are You That Somebody? Try Again? We Need a Resolution, and More Than a Woman. Aaliyah's cool, laid-back vocal style matched Static's writing perfectly. Together, they created something way ahead of its time. But their bond didn't stop at music. People who were there back then have said Static and Aaliyah had real mutual respect between them. And on top of that, there were even whispers floating around back in the day. Rumors that Aaliyah and Static were more than just friends for a minute. According to Static's own mother, Static and Aaliyah actually dated briefly in 1998 before deciding they were better off staying close as friends. Static's mom told the source straight up, they were definitely together. Aaliyah was crazy about him, she said. Static even brought Aaliyah to her wedding, which was a big deal back then because her parents didn't usually let her go out like that. So when Aaliyah passed away tragically in August 2001, it wasn't just business for Static. It hurt him on a personal level big time. But here's the part folks don't really talk about. Static never tried to cash in on Aaliyah's name after she was gone. He didn't hop on the wave like a lot of people did, using her memory for attention or clout. Instead, he moved quieter, like he was staying low-key, being real careful, almost like he was trying to protect something. And that's exactly why what happened next feels so suspicious. After Aaliyah's death, something definitely shifted in Static. He didn't just vanish, but he wasn't out there shining in the spotlight either. He stayed behind the scenes, still writing for major artists. Big names like Genuine, Truth Hurts, Brandy, and eventually Lil Wayne. And in case you didn't know, that's actually Static's voice on the hook of Lollipop, one of Wayne's biggest hits. But behind the scenes, Static was cooking up something way more personal.
It's like working with Static. Now, Static a beast. But you know, there was a whole group. Static was a part of a group, and they were signed to Cash Money. He just was the lead of the group. Yeah, and so they had a little R&B group, and he was the lead of that group. So he was like, he would navigate, you know what I mean? He was navigating whatever they was doing. He had songs that he'd have hooks for and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Everybody wouldn't take to him, but I told you, me, being a little different about the women and the way I approach women. So let me hear that, that Lollipop one, I got something for that, and that's how.
His own solo project. After all those years working behind the curtain, he was finally ready to step into the spotlight and tell his own story loud and clear. Static's solo album, Supper Time, had already been confirmed as in the works before he passed in 2008. But here's the thing, it never officially dropped. Word is, the project was almost finished, with tracks already recorded and lined up. But after his sudden death, the whole album got shelved, put away like it never existed. Even now, that album stays locked away in the dark. Nobody knows for sure if the full project still exists somewhere, if it's sitting on a hard drive collecting dust, or if it'll ever see the light of day. But folks who worked side by side with Static on that project said the songs weren't just about love or flashy party vibes like the industry expected. Some of that unreleased music felt way darker, more cryptic, more raw, and one track supposedly even touched on Aaliyah's passing. On top of that, Static wasn't just writing music, he was also keeping notes and journaling, putting down thoughts that weren't meant for songs. People close to him said Static had real plans to finally open up about what really went down, but he was waiting for the right moment. Sadly, that moment never came. On February 25th, 2008, Static walked into a hospital saying he wasn't feeling right. Flu-like symptoms, shortness of breath, and just a few days later, Static was gone. Just like that, no public autopsy report ever dropped, no follow-up, no deep investigation. It was like everything just stopped. Static was only 33 years old when he passed, leaving behind his wife, Avanti Garrett, and 4 kids. His family ended up filing a medical negligence lawsuit against Baptist Hospital East in Louisville, Kentucky. They settled out of court eventually, but the real cause of Static's death, still a mystery. No clear answers. And here's the thing, you don't gotta be some hardcore conspiracy theorist to start seeing the pattern. Static Major wasn't the first big name in the industry to die young, and he definitely wasn't the last. The music game's got a long, shady history of folks passing suddenly, under messy, unresolved circumstances. And that circles us right back to Aaliyah. Her death wasn't just tragic, it felt off from the jump. The official story wasn't just shocking, it was suspicious. Everything about it felt rushed, incomplete, and full of contradictions. And now, more than 20 years later, people still have real questions hanging in the air. Why was Aaliyah even on that plane in the first place? Who gave the green light for it? And why was she given a sleeping pill, then carried onto that plane without fully waking up? So check this. According to an eyewitness named Kingsley Russell, Aaliyah straight up refused to get on that plane at first. Kingsley said she went back to a taxi telling folks she had a headache and wasn't feeling right. But then, somebody from her team gave her a pill, and just moments later, they carried her onto the plane while she was completely knocked out. Now, Kingsley's family ran a taxi service out in the Bahamas, where Aaliyah had been filming her final music video, Rock the Boat. He was right there, witnessing her last moments. And just hours later, Aaliyah, along with everyone else on that flight, was gone. The plane crashed right after takeoff, barely 200 feet from the end of the runway. Official word was that the plane was overloaded and one of the engines failed. But here's the thing, over the years, there have been all kinds of conflicting reports about what really went down that day. Nothing about it feels clear-cut. And even though Aaliyah's crash was ruled an accident, plenty of folks inside the industry have hinted it wasn't just some random tragedy. Remember when Mary J. Blige once called it a spiritual? You gotta stop and really ask yourself, why would anyone describe a plane crash like that? Why would someone even hint at murder even if Mary didn't mean it literally? It's still wild the way Mary J. Blige said it like that. The fact she phrased it so directly, calling it a spiritual, just doesn't sit right. And you even heard Mary herself say, from what I know, it wasn't supposed to go down like that. So now you gotta ask, what exactly did she know? And why does she keep holding back from explaining what she really meant? That's when folks really started connecting the dots. Names like R. Kelly, Jay-Z, and Diddy kept coming up, not just in barbershop talk or random gossip, but in serious conversations about who had access to Aaliyah, who was always around her, and who might have wanted her out of the way. With R. Kelly, it wasn't just rumors. He didn't just date Aaliyah, he victimized her. He illegally married her when she was just 15 and he was 27. That's not some industry secret. That's confirmed, documented facts that helped land R. Kelly behind bars years later. But even after that disturbing chapter, other powerful men in the music business still circled around. According to Dame Dash, Jay-Z already knew what R. Kelly did to Aaliyah, and Jay still chose to work with Kelly after all that. Meanwhile, Jay allegedly developed his own obsession. He really wanted Aaliyah. But Aaliyah picked Dame Dash over Jay-Z. And if you believe what Jaguar Wright's been shouting about for years, Jay didn't handle that rejection easy. According to Jaguar, Jay-Z's ego couldn't take it. Aaliyah wasn't just another artist. She was a threat to his whole plan. And that's where things get real dark. Some say Jay wanted Aaliyah out of the way to punish Dame and make space for Beyonce to rise up in her place. Now here's where things go from messy to straight up chilling. Because after Aaliyah's death, a lot of the same names stayed winning, while the questions about what really happened just got buried deeper. Jay-Z's career skyrocketed, Beyonce stepped fully into the spotlight, and Dame Dash, his whole empire started falling apart not long after Aaliyah was gone. Some folks say that's just coincidence, but others aren't buying that. People close to Dame have said he was never the same after losing Aaliyah. He went from running the game with Rockefeller to slowly fading out, and meanwhile, Jay-Z was leveling up like nothing happened. It's like there was this silent circle in the industry, a handful of powerful people who all had something to gain from Aaliyah not being there anymore. Whether it was about control, money, or personal revenge, nobody can say for sure. But when you line up the timing, the relationships, and the aftermath, it's hard not to look at it sideways. And even now, after all these years, that silence around Aaliyah's death still hits different. Nobody really talks about it openly, especially not the big names who were close to her back then. It's almost like there's some unspoken rule. Keep quiet, don't stir things up, let the story stay buried, but fans never really let it go. Every few years, somebody brings it back up, whether it's an interview clip, an old photo, or a leaked track. People start asking those same questions again. Why were so many powerful men wrapped up in Aaliyah's life? Why did things move so fast after she passed? And what was Static Major really trying to warn us about before he was gone too? That's what makes all this feel bigger than just music. It's not just about a singer, a songwriter, or an album that never dropped. It's about a pattern of young talent being cut off, projects disappearing, and certain names always coming out on top like nothing ever happened. And when you really look back on it, Aaliyah wasn't the only one. Static wasn't the only one. That same quiet energy surrounds a lot of stars who passed young with no real answers left behind. And here's the part that really gets people thinking. Because just when you figure the story's over, little pieces keep popping up. Clues, rumors, unfinished business, Static's unreleased songs, his missing diary, Aaliyah's locked away footage and private recordings. It's like there are all these hidden layers still waiting to be uncovered. Insiders have even whispered that there are tapes, actual recordings of conversations, meetings, deals being made around the time Aaliyah was traveling for that final video shoot. Nobody's ever leaked them publicly, but certain people swear they exist. And if they're real, they could answer the questions that have been floating around for decades. Was her death really just an accident, or was there something more sinister going on, something that certain people in power work real hard to cover up? That's what makes it all so frustrating. It's not like fans want drama just for the sake of it. People want closure. They want the full truth. No half stories, no industry cover-ups. And it's not just about looking back, it's about protecting future artists too. Making sure there aren't any more young stars out here getting caught in dangerous deals or ending up silenced before their time. But here's one thing that's undeniable. From the moment Aaliyah stepped into the spotlight, she was surrounded by powerful men, some of them straight up predators. And the sad truth is, the people who were supposed to protect her didn't step up. The few good ones that did, like Static Major and DMX, both ended up passing away under seriously questionable circumstances. Insiders have said Static didn't see the full picture at first, but after Aaliyah passed, everything about his energy changed. That's when he started writing in that secret diary. That's when his lyrics took a darker turn. And there are interviews floating around now where Static openly talked about how shady the music industry really is, how people smile in your face while plotting your downfall behind closed doors. So if Static was really trying to protect Aaliyah, or at least get the truth out after she was gone, it would make sense why he might have been silenced too. But now I want to hear from you. Was Aaliyah's death really just a tragic accident? Or was there something way darker hiding in the shadows? Did Static Major know the truth? And was he shut down before he could tell the world? Sound off in the comments and drop all your theories. Don't forget, hit that like button, share this with somebody who needs to hear it, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss when the truth finally slips out.